Well, hey everyone, it's Mike Shaw here, and this video is going to tell you how to plan all your night photography projects for 2021. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so to begin with then, let's go ahead and start with constellations. Constellations are just a reliable favorite night sky subject. Here you can see the constellation Orion framed by the North Window Arch in Arches National Park. And on the left, what I've done is I've selected a recommended constellation for each of the months of the year, January through December. So for example, in February, you might want to look for the constellation Andromeda in the northwest section of the sky near the horizon. And all of these constellations are near the horizon, so you can easily capture them in your nightscape images. I've also included a recommended star to include in your nightscape images. For example, in February, the star Arcturus is a good one to shoot for. In March would be Vega, and so forth. Now, the full moon is a reliable night sky subject, and what I've listed here are the dates of all the full moons in 2021, January through December. So mark your calendar, and don't forget that the best night to shoot the full moon is often the night before the full moon. A couple weeks after the full moon, we have the crescent moon, as you can see here. And I've included the dates of the evening crescent moons on the left, January through December. So you can see there's like 2 or 3 or 4 nights that you might like to mark your calendars to get outside and see if you can get a clear view of the western horizon and capture the crescent moon as it sinks into the west after sunset. Speaking of sinking into the west after sunset, there's a number of planets that you might be able to capture during 2021. And I've listed all the planets here that are visible, whether or not they're near the horizon. The image shows the planets Venus and Mercury. Mercury is very dim down by the tree. You might be able to see its reflection. But on the left, again, you can see the monthly schedule. So Mars is bright overhead during the first part of the year, and then disappears around June. We don't really have any planets visible to the naked eye in June, but then starting in July, Saturn makes a reappearance, and then Jupiter and Saturn join us for August through November. And then in December, we kind of have a lack of visible planets as well. But we also have a series of fantastic meteor showers to look forward to. The quadrantids, or the quads, starting in January. Then we have the Lyrids in April and the Eta Aquarids in May, and then the good old Perseids in August. This is going to be a great year for the Perseids in 2021 because of the new moon phase. And then we have the Orionids, the Leonids, and the Geminids in the fall meteor shower season. So those are another set of great dates to have on your calendar. Now, here we are in the first part of 2021, and we're about to begin Milky Way season. So I've kind of divided this up into 3 sort of sub-seasons, if you will. The first one of which is the Arch season. That's the first one, as you can see in this image made in May, early May at 2 in the morning. And this is the type of shot where you get the complete arch of the Milky Way, horizon to horizon. And this is really best done in the months of March through June, when the complete arch is visible. Later in the year, the arch goes straight overhead. It's also visible, but it's very hard to capture in a panorama or fisheye image like this one. Following Milky Way Arch season, we have everybody's favorite, which is the core, Milky Way Core, the galactic core, the hub, the center of the galaxy. That's this bright region right in the middle of the image here, next to the large Sagittarius star cloud. And as you can see on the left, the months of May through August are prime Milky Way Core season. So look for the new moon weekends in these months, mark your calendars, and be sure to see if you can get outside in a dark location to enjoy the summer Milky Way. And then following the core season, we have what I call the vertical Milky Way season, and that's when the Milky Way appears out of twilight almost vertically oriented, and this occurs in August through October. So this is the latter parts of the year when you can actually look for the Milky Way oriented vertically in the southwest to west regions of the sky. And then finally we have the deep sky objects, and these can be nebulae, as you can see in the column here, open star clusters, other notable features, and then M31, the Andromeda Galaxy, which is speeding towards us as we speak. There's a number of nebulae I've listed here that are visible in the evening near the horizon. January has the North American Nebula. April has the North American Nebula Rising, M42, the Great Orion Nebula, the Rosette Nebula, and so forth, the Veil Nebula, the Heart and Soul Nebulae, and so forth down the list. We also have a number of open star clusters you might find interesting, the Pleiades and the double cluster just above the northern horizon. And then in the other column, I've included the Rho Ophiuchus molecular cloud complex, which is what you can see here in the background, as well as the Sagittarius star cloud. It's a great background for portraits and silhouettes. And then, of course, the M31, the final column, I've shown when it rises and sets near the horizon so you can plan your schedule accordingly. So by now you might be thinking, Mike, this is too complicated. What else is there? And the good news is there's a number of night photography images that you can capture any night, any clear night, sometimes any night of the year. So star trails, can you capture them in January? Yes. February? Yes. March? Yes. Any night, any phase of the moon, you can always set out your projects to capture a star trail image like this one facing north under a bright gibbous moon, nearly a full moon, which really lights up the foreground and makes the sky appear blue so you can really see what's going on. Cityscapes is another great opportunity. Again, any time of the year. This one's great because even if it's raining, you can capture an interesting city skyline. So there's always an opportunity to look for any type of building or structure to have in your night photography. Now, another special topic that happens throughout the year, subject, is the International Space Station. And you can go to the website Heavens Above to search for a good time to see when it's visible over your location. And there's also a number of satellites that you can search for, which are becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. But this is another type of night sky object that makes a wonderful subject, wonderful target, as you can see here in this image showing the International Space Station as the white line that rises up over the horizon and goes overhead. And then if you're lucky enough to live at a high latitude, you might be treated to a display of the Aurora Borealis. And this, of course, is very much near the top of most people's bucket lists. Here you can see a display in northern Minnesota. The beautiful reds and the yellows and the greens. This is in a very dark region of the state, up in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. And the good news is the aurora can happen any night of the year, any day of the year, really, for that matter. So there's a slight seasonality uptick in activity around the autumnal and vernal equinoxes. That's March and September. But nonetheless, this is something you can look forward to any night of the year. Now, there are a number of special events I wanted to draw your attention to here that occur throughout the year. We have a couple of evening conjunctions or alignments, as I've listed on the column here on the left. These are visible in the evening, so this is when Mercury and Venus are very close to each other on April 25th. You can look for those, and Venus and the Crescent Moon on May 12th, and so forth. You can go down the list. And then we actually have a couple of lunar eclipses taking place in May and in November, as you can see here. There are 2 solar eclipses taking place in 2021, an annular solar eclipse taking place really along the line between Canada and Russia, and then a total solar eclipse in Antarctica in early December. There are a few comets that we may be fortunate enough to be able to view this year, along with a couple of supermoons and a seasonal blue moon in August, the third full moon in a season, and then the harvest moon on September 20th. So that really wraps up our annual calendar for 2021. If you want to find out more about any of these subjects or how to capture them, I have 2 books. As you can see here, The Complete Guide to Landscape Astrophotography and Creative Nightscapes and Time Lapses. You can find them as well as many other resources on my website, mikeshawphotography.com. And of course, we can always connect on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. So with that, just thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.